What's up, Canes fans? Peter Ariz here with CanesInsight.com. Hope everyone's enjoying their 4th of July. And the Miami Hurricanes just keep things rolling here on the recruiting trail as Hylton Stubbs, one of the top safeties in the country, has committed to the Miami Hurricanes. Shout out to our sponsors at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, as well as Caneswear. Go get all of your Canes gear for the upcoming season there up in Davie, or of course caneswear.com. But man, Miami has really had a great thing going on the recruiting trail as of late, trending towards a top 5 class in the country here. And Hylton Stubbs, safety out of Mandarin High School, has committed to the Miami Hurricanes, number 99 player on the 247 sports rankings. In the composite, he's number 56 player in the country, number 6 safety, and number 9 player in the state of Florida. And this is a guy who has some freakish traits, 6'1", 190 pounds. He's a bigger safety, but can really move for his size. And coming up next here on the show, we bring on Jose Duaso, coach, GM, whatever you want to call it, of Raw 7-on-7, which is where Hylton Stubbs plays. Him and D-Money get into a great conversation of not only Hylton Stubbs and what he's going to bring to the table for the Hurricanes, but some of his other prospects there at Raw that, of course, Miami is recruiting. Amari Wallace, a recent commitment as well. But today, it's about Hylton Stubbs. Huge pickup for the Canes here, as this momentum is serious for them right now. Picked up Darion Coleman yesterday. Could there be more to come this week? Potentially tomorrow. Let's see. So Hylton Stubbs is a Miami Hurricane. We have Jose Duaso up next here on the Canes Insight podcast.
All right. It has been a very, very good week for the Miami Hurricanes. Very good 2 weeks. And one program keeps popping up, and that is Raw Miami, the premier 7-on-7 program in South Florida. 3 commits from Raw Miami. We will talk about each of those with Coach Jose Duaso. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good, D-Money. Thanks for having me on.
No, excited, man. Glad to see some of the names that you've been hyping for a long time make it to the program. And let's start from the most recent one, who you had very, very strong words for last time I spoke with you. I didn't think he was going to be a Cane. Hylton Stubbs, Drake Stubbs from Jacksonville Mandarin. What can you tell me about his game and how he compares to some of the other great safeties you've coached in the past, like Cam Kitchens?
They have very similar traits when you're talking about on the ball. Drake's a little bit larger than Cam, about 6'2", 190 some pounds. Cam was probably 5'10" coming out of high school, grew an inch in college. So a lot different body frames, but I would compare his game very similar to Cam. I would say because of his frame, if you could grow another inch or two, he is young. It's very Kyle Hamilton-esque. He just takes the ball away, just plays that game at a high level, high IQ, could get off the hash at a great, on great breaks. He's got fluid hips. He could bait you like Cam in that Louisville game. Like, I could see Drake doing something like that. He just takes the ball away.
Now, I know a big thing about Cam, when he was coming up, you were very big on intangibles, how he prepares and how that allowed him to make plays on the field. What can you tell me about Drake Stubbs, the kid, and just your interactions with him?
Just he is a leader. A vocal leader. He makes plays. He, I would say, similar probably IQ to Cam. I don't know, since he's up in Jacksonville, how hard he works, but I do know that he does grind his butt off via social media. It seems like he's always in the lab. If he's not getting field work, he is in the weight room. He does have a good body frame, so it does look like he consistently works out. With Cam, obviously, I was around him a lot since it was local. I've grown a little bit since then, getting guys from Florida and obviously nationally. But yeah, no, Drake brings his A game every time we come and play.
Do you use him more at Raw Miami as center fielder, lining up in the slot, both, or what do you think just his best role is?
So it's probably a bad question to ask me, just because I had the most loaded safety room in the country. I had him, Bryce Fitzgerald, and Quan Fegans, which all 3 have similar traits in the sense of I take the ball away, just ball hawks. I also had Keon Young, who's more of an in-box linebacker, not a linebacker, but I'm just saying hard-hitting, strong safety type, nickel, that kind of that what's the name, the hybrid look
Mm-hmm.
that you want. I think he could play both roles real well. But yeah, no, it's Drake could play center field. I think he could play anything, kind of like Cam, where I know Cam's report in the NFL was he could play both safety positions. I think Drake could play both safety positions. Has that IQ. He has the hips. He could come up and tackle. Just great instincts.
As far as the hands and the athleticism, is he someone to bat down the ball? You mentioned he's a ball hawk. I mean, how's his finishing ability when he gets to the ball?
He in our bad performance in nationals, at least we beat the Trillion Boys. He made an interception that he just floats in the air, and he broke from center field and caught it right on, like, before the out of bounds mark. He floats and he goes after the ball. It's not batting it down. He's taking the ball away. And in today's game of football, it's winning the turnover margin, and having Drake Stubbs playing safety for you, there's a good chance you're going to have a turnover in a game.
I know you don't get involved with the recruiting, but obviously you hear things and everything else. What do you think it was about Miami that attracted a Drake Stubbs?
I think his relationship with the staff is something he always mentioned to me. Our advice to our kids through our program is just make a pros and cons list, see what outweighs everything else. I think obviously with Raw, he started to grow a relationship with Cam. I think Cam played a vital part in this recruitment towards down the stretch, but ultimately the staff did have a great relationship with him, made him know that he was a priority, always felt him loved. I think he bought into the culture down there, but also the legacy of the safety room there. I think that's a big selling point of the safeties is now with Cam's recent success. Hey, I think you just saw an article of Jair Edwards, like Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Cam Kitchens. I think we're trending in the right direction in safety recruiting. Obviously, we got Amari Wallace. He's more of a nickel strong safety role, but safeties do want to come to Miami, and also James plays a big part in that. James is a hometown hero, did his thing. He's in the league now. So you had two local kids that were very successful that brought Miami some relevance back in that room after some years of just up and down. Obviously, Jaquan Johnson played great. So did Redwine, but Redwine was more of a corner here. But the DB room obviously wasn't what it once was. But yeah, I think the safeties brought that greatness back to Miami, and great safeties want to come play here. Zaquan Patterson last year as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I know you were a big Zaquan Patterson fan last year, even though he did not play for Raw Miami. Just from watching him on the field, you were always hyping him up with me. And then Amari Wallace, someone you love, who was a member of Raw Miami this year. Those three, how do you kind of, not in terms of who's better or worse, but just role-wise, how do you see them fitting in?
So if I'm lining it up, you're putting an Amari in the nickel in today's game, as Amari is a top 100 pick when it comes to playing that nickel role. I think in the NFL, he'll definitely be playing on Sundays. He is what you want in a 5'11" nickel safety. He could play the run support. And I think we had this conversation off the books, but it was, we bring a very physical defense to the table with Zaquan and Amari. They're going to knock your chin strap off. And it's that Miami football you want to see. It's guys are going to come up in the run game or in that screen game, get off the screen and just make that receiver really question if he wants to come upfield. And when he starts catching that ball, they play a nice man press. Amari could play great man press. He could put his hands on you. He's physical. But I think what it brings is Drake's more of that, your center fielder, while Zake, I think you could rotate. Like if you could keep Coach Kidry, and obviously we know in college football, if you have a good coordinator, they're gone after 2, maybe 3 years. I don't see him sticking here much longer if he keeps having the success that he's having, especially with the type of guys that he has to use. But if Mario plays the CEO that we think he is and keeps hiring a DC that could get creative, you could have a lot of fun with some of the guys that we're going to land.
It would be fair to say, just in terms of bread and butter, maybe center field type role for Stubbs, Zaquan maybe coming closer to the box at times. And then,
Drake's playing that Cam role, Zaquan's playing that James role. And I would say Amari's just that would be more situated in the nickel. Him and Zaquan will probably flip-flop a lot. Like if we're playing, if I know how my staff's going to use it, like Amari's just great in the nickel. But
And we're watching Amari's clips here on Huddle. I was out there at the overtime. I saw him playing a lot of nickel. How did you see him stack up in coverage against some of the best receivers in the country?
Like clamps. Like he locks in. He likes to call it glitch in. He's the glitch in CEO. He glitches in, and it's straps. He made a game. If you go back to YouTube and go watch I want to say it's the OT7 championship that we beat Trillion, or it might have been the week before in playoffs when we were in OT7. He made a diving play on 4th down and batted the ball down. And if he didn't lay it out, like he's going to lay it on the line. Like he's just a football player. Like get Amari on the football field. He wants to play football. And I know it's 7-on-7 where it's just fun for them, but Amari's a real football player. Like put that helmet on. And like I said, he's going to knock your chin strap loose and he's going to clamp you.
Now, another player who 7-on-7, he's not getting as much action just by the nature of the position as some of these other guys, but was a member of Raw Miami as well. Ezekiel Marcelin, linebacker, man. The Cheez-It man. I saw the edit you did with the Cheez-Its. Very nice. What can you tell us about Ezekiel Marcelin? You had Wesley Basaints, who was starting linebacker for Miami. Another Central kid was a member of your program back when it was Immortals, right? And then, of course, has had success with the Canes. How do you see Marcelin fitting in with the Miami Hurricanes?
I think he's kind of that old school. I'm going to knock your chin strap, sideline to sideline, really good on the run support, can't play the pass game. But in today's football, everybody's creative. He's a first down, probably a first, second down guy, short yardage situation. I would say he's probably a Shaq Quarterman 2.0. Great at Miami. Shaq Quarterman was a great Miami linebacker. I think he'd be slightly better than him. Can't play on Sundays, has not the frame that they think. He's legit like 210 pounds, 6 foot, 6'1". So he's a big boy. We call him blockhead. He's got a big head. Like the dude's got a serious head. And no, he's a big boy. And my biggest thing is he's a 4-year starter at Miami Central, and he's always produced. Played next to Wesley. He played next to T2. Like he's played against these guys, and he's always production. And in big games, he produces. That's my biggest thing is like I saw some fans trying to diss him kind of in the Vince Schaefer's conversation of last year. Like go look at his numbers. I think he had 100 and something tackles while Schaefer's only had 40 some. Yep. So it's production is through the roof. EJ's as good as a linebacker as what you want. If he was about 6'2", 6'3", you're talking about a potential borderline 5-star. But he's not that prototypical. Maybe back in 98, when you look at his body, you would love him. But in today's game, he's not that tall, long guy and I think he could cover. Like he could run. He's a fast dude. He's a hard worker. And like I said, 4-year starter at Miami Central. He knows how to win. That's what you want to put in your locker room, guys that know how to win. Plain and simple. Knows how to put in that Central. You got to put in that work. So you're getting guys from programs that are going to come put in that work and know how to win.
Vince Shavers, by the way, from what I'm reading, is doing tremendously at Nebraska as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's
no slouch.
He's no slouch at all.
I'm just saying what the fan like. I graze through the forum sometimes, and I saw what they're saying about EJ, and it's just like, look, no, he's not a 3-star. He's a 4-star at some sites. I think he's gonna boost his stock this year with his play. He's a dude, and he comes and lays the wood.
Yeah, I saw he's posting on social media like pictures of himself. He's saying he's up to 6'1", 218.
He is the team comedian. I will say that. Probably the funniest kid I've ever coached in my life. I might make an award for Cheez-It Man because I've never laughed as hard as I have with that guy.
Would you say that's accurate though? You think about 6'1", 218 based on what he's
100%. He's a block. Like he's chiseled. Like he is he is a massive guy.
Yeah, so, he was posting all those shirtless posts on social media. My wife or whoever's around is looking at me like I'm the weirdest person in the world. I'm scrolling through Twitter and all this stuff pops up. But
you got 18-year-olds popping shirtless 18-year-olds on your Twitter feed.
That's the way it is, I guess. But you've done a lot of comparisons. You kind of took some of the thunder with the Shaq Quarterman comparison, but for all three of these guys, you've given comparisons offline. So why don't you walk through some of the comparisons for Stubbs, for Wallace, and for Marcelin? Yeah,
like I think Drake's in that just ball hawk, like Kyle Hamilton, Cam Kitchens type of football player. Like I'm just a playmaker, flat out. and that's what you want at the safety position in today's game. I think Amari brings in, if I'm going to compare his game to anybody, I'm not comparing it to Cam because he's faster than Cam. I was seeing that comparison online a little bit. To figure out Amari Wallace is Amari Wallace. Like that, plain and simple. Can't duplicate that guy right there. Just I got to get into the lab more, ask my guys. Amari just is a football player, plain and simple. And Zeke, yeah, like I would say he's in that Shaq Quarterman mold, probably slightly faster, so the fans don't freak out. I know there's some fans out there that weren't the biggest Shaq fans, but probably best linebacker we've had outside of now Kiko in the last how long? So since Denzel. So yeah, no, I think I would compare his game very similar probably to a Shaq Quarterman.
Love it. Take any one of those three comps. Raw Miami continues to be good to the Miami Hurricanes. You got some more guys kind of still in the mix that Miami's recruiting. Obviously, you got some big 26ers. I want to talk about some plans you have kind of broader than Raw Miami. Big 7-on-7 tournament. I thought 7-on-7 was done. Here we are, late July. There's going to be a 7-on-7 tournament. Ransom Everglades, tell me about that.
Yeah, so now we flip the page to Scholastic 7-on-7, the high schools. So our nonprofit Beyond the Goalpost partnered with 305 Sports, and we're putting on an event at Ransom Everglades, 16 teams of the top teams in South Florida. It's going to be a great event. We would love to have people to come out. Just a great overall event. We'll have a panel of some people to educate the parents on NIL branding, financial awareness. Some of these kids that will be playing in the tournament, obviously, are major guys. We do have some great teams in it. But we have Central, Booker T, Homestead, Miami, Norland, Carroll City, Western. So the list goes on. But some of the top dogs, there's some top dogs missing, but we have pretty much everybody outside two teams. So very excited, especially that late in the season, to get these teams to come in. We're giving a $5,000 cash prize. So it's great to give back and help one of these programs to a 7-on-7 tournament, give them the resources, and we get to do it all on the bay of the bay there. So I'm real excited. Yeah,
beautiful campus at Ransom. Every time I see Ransom, I think of that movie Wild Things with Denise Richards. It might have been like, I don't know, 27 years ago at this point. But,
yeah.
Classic movie if you haven't seen it.
Great flick.
Coach, man, appreciate you. Congrats on a good season. Raw Miami and your program in general continues to build every single year. And, you know, Miami Hurricane fans, not saying it's by design, but Raw Miami has been very good to the Canes. Talk about Wesley Basainth, Cam Kitchens, DJ Ivy, Zeke Marcelin, Amari Wallace, Drake Stubbs. Missing anybody there?
Gilbert, Khalil,
yep.
Khalil Romello.
Yep. So again, thank you, Coach. Appreciate you, and good luck with the Ransom 7-on-7.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks, man.